I'll start with the introductory remarks by all our panelists. Mr. Sankar, if you could start with your thoughts on our learnings of the shopping centers over the years and the challenges you are facing today in terms of shopping centers.
I think from morning onwards, everybody has heard about e-retailing and how it is going to affect the malls and how the physical versus the so-called brick versus click, how they will exist or how they will not interfere with each other. It's very interesting to have this discussion at this right time. What we say is that, that today the challenges are many, but fundamentally I think everybody is looking at is how do you make the malls run successfully with the, as a win-win along with all the tenants. And that's what I feel is the most important thing that has to happen, and that's what the industry has learned and how to work together on the industry.
Thank you, Mr. Sankar. From my perspective, I think if I had to catch maybe one or 2 points which are of relevance, one is in India, even after 10 to 15 years of retail revolution, we have not got the depth of retailers in many categories. That means many categories still don't find space in malls because there are not enough retailers in that category. And second, I think over the last 4 or 5 years, we are really struggling with productivity of retail operators. So the retail operator still continues to evolve his product, his size of store and his merchandise, but has not reached the productivity levels to sustain the real market price of the real estate. And that's where Mr. Shankar was mentioning that there has to be a win-win, because real estate is one of the most expensive components. And unless the productivity of the Indian retailers increases, it might be very difficult going forward to create these spaces.
I think, I agree with Mr. Subhranshu and Mr. Sankar. I think the biggest challenge is to today convince a real estate developer to build a retail asset, because he is still trying to gain confidence on the local as well as national retailers present in their retail developments or other retail developments, because it's very difficult to judge their productivity. You don't get the right sales per square foot, what they are trading at. And other biggest challenge is that we don't have enough retailers in the country. And lot of developers don't want to give opportunities to local retailers to be a part of a successful retail development.
So let me sort of step back and talk about it from an investment perspective, because I look at it from an investment perspective. I think the first thing is, when you're looking at retail anywhere, you've got to have patient capital, right? A lot of people stepped into retail looking at the numbers and rents and all of it. But unfortunately, you can't have impatient capital to make money and hold on to retail assets. The second thing, from at least an investment perspective, which has not worked very well, is banks have sort of shied away from lending to the retail sector, simply because most of the retail product you see in the country is either planned really badly, it's strata sold, and unfortunately you can't manage it efficiently. So these two are the major challenges in terms of why you aren't seeing too much retail supply in the market.
So if I sum up all suggestions and thoughts and learnings, I would say what you said is consumer is changing, which means the online is coming. Retailers are not really ready for the consumption story. They're still struggling and trying to set up things. And what you said is that the retail real estate capital has to be patient capital. It cannot expect immediate returns. So which means retail is a challenge, consumer is a challenge, and the financial is a challenge. That's what we've seen over the years. So now if I had to just explore this thought a little more to come to our next subject, which is consumers. So if, like what we heard in the morning, FDI is, now let's not talk about it because you don't know what's going to happen, and let's not build retail because FDI is going to come. So you got to build great retailing which attracts great consumption. What have as real estate developers, because it's a serious investment, what have we done to really create better retailing besides the real estate? I just wanted to, because as partners, we are, I think, Shubhranshu, correct me if I'm wrong, 5% to 20% on every balance sheet of a retailer is the real estate cost, depending on the format. So if 20% is real estate cost, and obviously for us it's thousands of crores gone into a real estate asset, the real estate asset, not the ones which were made and sold. What have we done, or what are we doing for retail to become more efficient? Because that's also a very important subject, and I thought if we could, I'm sure you're doing a lot of work with retailers, and because I feel lots of great shopping centers across the world have worked very closely with lots of retailers to create maybe a new format, because obviously retail is an entrepreneurial business, and great retail comes out of that. So are we doing anything in terms of helping, supporting, creating better retail?
See, there are various factors that need to be taken into consideration. First and foremost is that the industry, both the sides, that is both from the retail side and the real estate side, has to get into what I call it as a revenue share mode. You know, there is no point in somebody making money at the cost of...
So that's a good
other.
point.
It's
I
not
think,
possible.
so maybe that's what I was, so revenue share has been a very big step by the real estate industry to help retail prosper, which means, okay, don't worry, don't pay us the rentals, do a turnover, we'll take, if you're a food guy, we'll take 4%, 5%, if you're a fashion guy, we'll take. So I think that's a very big step I think real estate took. What else? What else? Anything else which you think real estate has done to benefit retail? I think one of the biggest factors was this.
You know, I think the single most change has been a little bit of transparency when it comes to the relationship of the developer and the retailer. I think none of these revenue shares and all would be possible if the two parties did not trust each other. And I think that trust has come to a large extent.
So trust has been built over the years. Yeah. Vivek, any suggestions? What have we done? I actually want these thoughts to be brought out that real estate has done a lot to...
I think, most of the developers today are creating spaces which are more than retail shops. Spaces which help pull in more people, get that environment going, make it a more public space. So obviously you come for shop, but incidentally you do lot of other stuff as well. And that pulls in a lot of people. So it's not only up to the brand.
So basically we've tried to create the pull, which initially, if you guys remember, we used to talk, retailers used to say, oh, mall has to do something for the consumer.
It was always the retailer has to do something.
Yeah. So and the mall guys used to say the retailer.
Now the mall or the developer is trying to put in his efforts to pull in people as well.
So which means finally the mall developers has realized that we need to create the consumer or pull in the consumer.
That's right.
Because finally it's my asset and retailer is just one part of my merchandise. Right. So I need to pull. So we've done that. Any thoughts on that?
At VR, at Virtuous Retail, what we do, and with a significant amount of our time is spent really on market research. So we have a large team which goes into malls in the top 7, 8 cities in the country, and what they do is primarily primary research. Go to every single retailer, understand how well they're doing in terms of trading, understand what their typical store sizes are, and then we collate all of that information, come back, and then analyze all of it. So if you see what goes into planning of our centers, our typical store size has sort of shrunk, right? And what we go and tell all of these retailers at the end of the day, listen guys, you can have similar numbers with smaller store size. So even if you look at the hypermarket and how that's evolved in the country, whether you have a 40,000 square feet store or an 80,000 square feet store, the incremental 40,000 square feet is giving you extra 15% in revenue.
So basically insights.
Right?
We've supported
so across
retail
categories, we're trying to understand how that works and then communicate that to retailers. And in some cases, it's worked very well. They've taken feedback very positively and come back and said that, listen, yeah, it makes sense to do a smaller shrunk format.
Sure. So I think very interesting. I think I actually didn't think of this subject before we came on stage, but I think this just came impromptu, and it's a very interesting thought that real estate has, and which we used to earlier say a lot to developers, that it's your responsibility. I remember saying this to a developer, that a retailer who's based out of Bangalore is coming to Ludhiana, for example, and opening a store. He trusts you as a developer. He trusts that you've studied the consumer, you've studied the location. I'll open if you want me to. So I think insights is a big thing which we've done. So I think even after doing all that, we still believe the retail is not able to create that level of consumption versus what we as real estate expect, isn't it, Mr. Sankar? What do you think? Is retail performing to the levels what we want them to today?
See, I will put that yes also, because it's not that, always no. For example, we have seen recently a Cyber Hub experience where even the retailers were also not expecting that sort of a consumption and the growth. I think it's being demonstrated that you get the right product at the right place, and the people are ready to spend. They are ready to come, but you have to create that environment for them to come. For example, a simple thing like how to get inside the mall and get outside the mall. If you don't make that as a pleasurable experience, obviously people will not get happy. So that if you can make those things, I think retailer also will gain and the real estate will also gain. So both have to work together in making those things, and there are success stories everywhere.
So I think gives us a good...
So, I don't think you can just use a paintbrush approach and say that generally retailers are making some lot of money. If you look at the really successful centers across the key cities in India, retail is making a ton of money. Right? So, I would try to compare it to any other business, whether it's the media business, the newspaper business. If you are number one, right, there's a big difference in terms of what you can earn versus the number two guy. And
I would just like to add one thing, and I think somewhere where the retailer community also should understand is you might have a real estate model or a format, we should call it, which takes care of a lot of merchandise categories. But India is a vast country with vast number of differences in consumption patterns. You can't put the same prototype in every city and tell that, my productivity will be the same. It clearly is demonstrated by the fact that you are doing phenomenally well in the prototype in some city, which is a metro, or it's some prime mall. The other place you're not doing well, something is wrong with your format also, that you should tweak it to meet the local requirement. And I think that is where a little bit of flexibility is needed with both partners, with the developers to make the right sizes, and the retailers to accept those right sizes.
Just to add to the point what he's saying, if the catchment analysis is not done, and you are jumping into the conclusion of the developing a mall and then putting whatever brand that comes to you, even for a 2 rupees higher rent, you go to a brand which is not required for that market, then you are creating a problem for yourself and even to the brand. So that's where the catchment study is becoming very, very important.
So I think lots of learnings. I think this is a good place to move on with our next level, which is the future of mall spaces. I remember on this thought earlier, ground floor would not give you a food and grocery supermarket. So I think things have changed. So we have a lot of learnings. Let's move on to our next thought, which is the consumer of tomorrow. It's something very interesting I found, and I must share it with you. This is Tesco in Korea, and what they found